Hi, I'm Bill, InfoWarrior84 on YouTube. I have some former videos mainly to do with conspiracies in regards to the government and other various things throughout the world. Not all my videos are conspiracy videos, but most of them are of that serious nature. And conspiracies are generally brought up in a term when they use the word theories to go along with it. And I don't like to stick with theories. I basically talk and show things that do have facts, like many of us do now. Um, this is September 22nd, 2012, and I am going to be doing a weekly, um, basically rundown of the news, um, in particular because I don't trust the Cartoon News Network, aka CNN, or Fox Schmooze, and all that garbage. So I'm basically going to do depending on how much news there is and what there is to cover and how much time I have, might be one show a week, could be two, three, or four shows a week. Basically, running through all the important news that people need to get out there and start digesting that they don't normally get. So, with that said, keep an eye out for these InfoWar updates from InfoWarrior84. Um, please note that I do um, need as many subscribers as possible. I will subscribe to your YouTube account um, and check your videos out. And if I do so, I'd appreciate the same um, in return. Anyways, moving on. Again, it's September 22nd, 2012. We got a lot of things going on. We have QE3, which I told people um, this was going to happen. I told them months ago it was going to happen. You could see it ever since they first talked about it. I didn't even know what it was at first, and I looked it up. And then I realized that this was something that they wanted to talk little about, but people to understand that they were going to do eventually. I had a college professor tell me, and I've never gone to college, that he expected they might push forward with the quantitative easement number three, um, but probably not till spring of next year. He's from Bentley University, and I told him, no, they'll have it done by October, more than likely, early fall, at very latest. And he didn't think so. He thought that it would be much later, and he's like, I agree with some of your ideas on some of these economics. Very surprised at how much I knew about it, and I told him, well, it's not really that hard. I just self-educated myself and paid close attention to detail, and usually by doing that, you can figure out what's going on, but not many people do that nowadays, unfortunately, which is why they basically get screwed over. Um, but again, they went through with it about a week ago, almost today, and it was 12:39 in the afternoon. I remember reading the article, QE3 implemented. Now they're saying QE infinity. Basically, at first they were going to print 85 like $billion out of nowhere and give it to central banks, which ties directly into the fact that most people don't realize the Federal Reserve is not a part of our government. Read about it, look it up. It's not whatsoever part of our government. It is basically a large central bank run by private companies. It's a private bank that the government uses. It's not a part of the government. They basically control the government, which is why they print money out of nowhere because we're the world's reserve currency. And so QE3 and the Federal Reserve go hand in hand. Unfortunately, the big mega banks like JP Morgan and several others that are tied into this are all Rockefeller Foundation. Um, Basically, all the banks that are still afloat that are just sucking in all this money and destroying every economy on the planet, including we're burning like Rome. And at this point, it looks like we're going down. Um, this is what the Federal Reserve and these private banks are doing to us. This has been the plan all along. It's a controlled collapse. People don't have the time to look and see it, and sometimes they don't even want to have the time to look and see it. This is a controlled collapse. They meant to have this happen. They're sucking up the world's wealth. They want all the gold, which is what all the banks are doing right now. They were told to, get their assets set and to make sure that they have things secured. And by doing that, most of the big banks, especially the central banks, are sucking up all this gold. And there's a lot of fake gold going around. Well, QE3 was supposedly designed to, now that I've gone off there on a chasing a rabbit down a hole, but QE3 was basically designed as quantitative easement to um, slow the process of the devaluation of the dollar, which is roughly just under 40 cents to the dollar at this point. Very sad. Most people don't know that either. Um, and inflation, which has already taken off, if you go to most stores and pay attention to your grocery list and what you normally get, you'll see that there's been a spike in price several times in the last year easy. And this is getting very serious. But the thing is the slowing of this, which is what they said it would do, of these processes of hyperinflation and devaluation of the dollar, doesn't look like it's working quite the way they said it would. And they probably knew it would work this way, but used it as a funnel to suck most of the money again, using these government welfare bailouts. And they're one to talk about people on the EBTs and all that. I mean, this is a complete fraud. And if anybody is sucking the system dry, it's these damn central banks. And it's not just our system, it's the European system. Pretty soon it's going to be the Asian system. The whole damn world is going to be on its knees until we beg for help. And then they're going to come in pretending to be the heroes. They're going to make us into this one world government. We're going to have an NWO, a New World Order. They're going to have their own damn one world currency probably. The Marrow's already on the stock market, which evidently they made up several years back for us. Um, it's just like no end in sight to the tyranny that we're going through and the bizarre set of circumstances that entail. But at this point, it looks like the economy will collapse. I mean, that's a given. It's unsustainable debt. We can't even pay off the interest to the debt that we owe here. And that's even if we taxed everybody at 100% of their income. That just screams out alone that, this is it. I mean, what goes up must come down. We had, our day in the park, and all good things come to an end. And unfortunately, it came to an end because a bunch of basically gangsters, um, law-breaking fools, power-hungry, tyrannical monsters took our system over, hijacked the politics in this country from both sides of the aisle, made it into a two-party dictatorship. It's basically a bunch of gangs, as Jesse Ventura said, running the country, and they allow the banks to do whatever they want as long as they get their cut of the pie and the power. And the both of them are just running away with everything while we pay for it and suffer. And people got to wake up to this fact and pay close attention to what's going on. And you got to watch it because they've been talking about calling bank holidays. If you guys don't know what a bank holiday is, I'm not going to go into it right now, but I would suggest you get educated on the fact that if they call a bank holiday, you don't get your money. It's not a holiday. It's nothing to celebrate. It's not Christmas. But moving on to the next topic, I'll probably touch on the economy thing in another video at another time when I get a little bit more to throw in the way of fact, other than what I did. I mean, I got to show people things and documents, and just it's unbelievable. I seriously suggest people get educated on this and immediately. And it looks like Ron Paul just come out today and said, "Hey, this is serious. I don't know why people aren't panicking. Gold's going up. That was a sign, an indicator that." The economy could collapse at any minute. They said if gold reached 2000 plus, watch out. It could be indicative of a collapse. And I mean, everybody else is preparing for it except for the average Joe. I mean, it obviously it's the insiders know, and that's the way it's supposed to go, I guess. Um, but again, I'm going to get into it more at a different point as far as the economy goes. Um, but please do what you can in the meantime to educate yourselves. I'll answer any comments, questions on that topic. Just send me them, whatever video. Uh, I'm open to it. My email's right up there. So, but again, moving on to the next topic. Um, a buddy of mine made me realize that he's a minister and really good one at that. But we're really close, and he just started. We talk a lot of politics. He was a Vietnam veteran. Now he served our country. Um, he's a God-loving guy, and he's a minister. He's a minister now, not just a vet, and just a good man all around. And he brought it to my attention the other day. He's going to be delivering documents I'm going to make copies of to put on here. That basically the government sent him a letter in the mail stating that Um, just to touch on it a little bit while I don't have it in front of me yet. I'm going to show proof, actual solid proof that this is actually happening. When Alex Jones talked about the clergy response teams and how the fake them people were and how they run around just like pretending they're God-loving people just to control flocks, that's what them people do. What my friend got in the mail because he's an honest guy and he opposes some of the things the governments do. I mean, he has a right to. We all have a right to do and say what we want. We have a right to our opinions. Um, he has some views, as do I, and many people nowadays that, we got to stand up for our Constitution. We got to, stand up for all our rights. We should have God in in a lot of the things that we do. Um, but they sent him this paper that stated basically that if he was to oppose the government and they seen fit, they could shut his clergy down. They could strip him of the title of being a minister, that he might not ever be able to vote again. He couldn't pick and or choose to vote as or become a politician in any political party and run for office in this country, period. Um, they also said they could fine and jail him and people involved. Um, if basically he didn't agree with their policies and or he spoke out against them. Now, if that doesn't scream out socialist, communist, all the above, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm telling you, Romney won't help this. I mean, I know people can scream, oh, Obama this, Obama. Either one of them, it doesn't matter. This federal government, they have a mind of their own. It's like there's too many chiefs in the cabinet. You know what I mean? And every organization out there is just coming out with their own rules, and it's part of this tyranny. And this is the one more way they can control people, just like the new ID policy they have put in place, especially in New Hampshire. I mean, we haven't had this before. I think it's designed to take down, in a fraudulent way, people's voting rights. And right now we got a lawsuit going on over it. But again, I'm going to be bringing that up at a later date as well, with the actual document that they sent him. He told me that I could use it for that. He is risking um, what he loves the most in life to bring this to people, to make them aware of how tyrannical this is and how we live in a free country, yet the government can tell you how you can run your religious operation and how you can vote and what you can say and what you can't say. Whatever happened to the Constitution and freedom of speech, the freedom to practice your religion anywhere, anyhow, as long as you aren't hurting another. That's liberty, my friends. And this seems to be a dying thing nowadays. And this just shocking and sad. I mean, maybe not as shocking because there's a lot of crazy stuff like that going on, but definitely sad. And I'm gonna be making sure I get this out there so people can see it. This is not a joke, and this is something that needs to be taken very seriously as well. It's something I hadn't been aware of up until just recently. Like I said, when he told me he had received that in the mail, I thought he was kidding at first, and then when he said he was making the copy of it for me, I knew then and there this is no joke, and people need to know what's going on, and we need to stop this. This is getting way out of hand. Uh, we got all these people telling us what to do with an election coming up. We got the poor ambassador over there that got killed just today. The new Libyan president, our government put in power after they screwed Gaddafi over and let him die. And I'm no friend of Gaddafi's. I mean, he wasn't a great guy, but if people knew the screw job that he got, BP signed an oil deal. Next thing you know, they're hunting him down and killing him after they got all the oil rights, and wow, lo and behold, they don't get to pay anybody money. Wonder why he ended up dead. It's just not a mystery why they're over there. There's just a lot of interest, and unfortunately, they're dragging our economy down into their war tank, and pretty soon there's going to be all kinds of awful things happening. I hope it don't come to that, but I can see it plain as day. But I mean, look at the shape we're in here. I mean, we got 47% of the countries on some type of assistance of some sort, whether it be EBT or uh, going to you know food pantries, and a lot of people do need these types of help, and unfortunately, they're getting ridiculed by the same people who are ripping the banks off, and running for politics. Like Romney there, he's coming out and bashing people, and oh well, yeah, he's one to talk. He paid in $2 million last year in taxes, and he made over 20. When you live like that, you don't know what it's like on the other end. But to me, 47% of the people getting some type of assistance screams out not abuse of the system. The people are lazy and they don't want to work because there is no jobs. There's just simply no jobs out there to get. The demographics on the jobs and the job rates are just, they're fixed. They're not even the right numbers. I mean, they're like, oh, we're 9% jobless rate and we're really at close to 16%. This is ridiculous. They're not even telling you the truth no matter where you go. So you got to look it up for yourself or find people like us, like Alex Jones, me, Gerald Salente, so many others, coast to coast, people like that, just people that are out there, that you can find the truth, you can find the numbers, you can find the facts. They'll tell you where to find the facts. We'll tell you where. This is things you want to keep track of, and 47% of the people in this country struggling. I mean, the only difference between the Great Depression and now is we have way more debt, and now instead of being in bread lines, people are just getting EBT or going to the local church for help. I mean, this is bad. That's almost half the country. Stop and think about that for a second. And I wouldn't be in a rush to judge some people sometimes. This country is in rough shape, and there are people out there struggling to make it by. This isn't a cakewalk. Whether you're rich and losing your money, or whether you're poor and you didn't have it to lose in the first place, but you're still starving to death. You know, we're supposed to help each other out. That's what this country was founded on. That's why we are this country. We were supposed to be the greatest nation on the face of the planet. We went from a broken, we went from a prospering nation of peace to a broken nation of war very quick. Clinton got the surplus, Bush come in, blew all that, then some. Then everybody's trying to blame Obama for the mess he got handled when Bush come in. He's actually spending more, and he's not doing exactly what he said, which he is guilty of. But he didn't cause the problem in the first place. And now people want to go back to a guy who's ridiculing people for not having jobs that aren't there, and that he'd rather have them starve to death than be on food stamps or whatever because it'd make him feel better and sleep better at night. Because he's a Republican or whatever. Jesse Ventura said he's going to be running in 2016 if we can get him on the ballots as a independent or just himself, not as a party person. We got to elect another person president that is like George Washington. Someone that isn't tied to a party with no special interests in mind. And that's him, and that's the type of person we need. Someone who wants to run things, fair and square on the, everybody's on an equal playing field. it's what we need, and we got to try and get them on ballots because the situation, this mess we're in right now, is just awful. And I hope people stay tuned to more of my videos to come because they're all kind of a little disorganized right now. But as I said, this is kind of like a beta test on a weekly news that I'm starting up, and it's just a little sampling of things that I'm going to be talking about and doing. I'm going to have more illustrations, more of a professional type of setup, not exactly pro, but and things printed out and websites and just documents written down to where I can show them, you people can find them, see for yourself that we're not just blowing smoke. These things are things that you need to know, you need to find, and know that conspiracy theories aren't always theories. Most of the things we talk about, are really dead on facts, and otherwise we wouldn't waste our time on it. And we wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if we didn't care about it and didn't think it was of any importance. We're in a time in our country and in our world where we're in dire straits, and it's a very important time, and we got to either choose to stand apart and basically be jellyfish slackers who don't do anything or think, for ourselves, or we need to come together and band together and get through this together. Um, and we need to be able to function on our own and for ourselves and think for ourselves and not always let the mainstream media get to us. Again, please stay tuned. I am going to have more weekly news broadcasts along with special things that I throw on here and there. Again, just keep an eye out. I will have more to come. Thanks for watching.